Guys, listen up. As you get older, the best way to continue to look young, exuberant, and vibrant is to continue to take care of your skin. That's why I'm excited to have TJ Hanley as a sponsor of today's video. You heard me talk about them before, and you're going to continue to hear me talk about them because I believe in their products and the positive impact that they have on every man's life. TJ Hanley makes taking care of your skin so easy. They provide you with all the products you need and nothing that you don't. Every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. Lapeef family, I must admit, skincare wasn't always something I always focused on, but since I started using this system, I've seen improvements in the way my skin looks and feels. And you don't have to take my word for it. They have over 5,000 5-star reviews on their website from satisfied customers from around the world. I recommend you start with the level 1 system, which comes with all the basics: a daily face wash, an exfoliating scrub, an AM moisturizer, and a PM moisturizer. In addition to amazing skin, members of TJ Hanley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off retail price, the ability to customize your box, pause or cancel at any time, and free US shipping. And because TJ Hanley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers a great deal. Just click that first link in the description and you'll get 30% off your first box plus the free gift. Seriously, that's an amazing deal. Even though it's too early, as I often say, it's never too late. Click that link and get started today. going on, family? Welcome to King Talk. I'm sorry. Lapeef-ing Sundays on the Lapeef Network. We're going to introduce the crew. We got Balance, Reese, Paradise, Eric, Layla, Sugar Pearl, Taking the Basement, and myself. I'm Lapeef J.R. Welcome to Lapeef-ing Sundays. What's going on, family? How y'all doing?
Feeling good, feeling good. It's beautiful outside. Hope everybody got a moment to spend some time out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
It is pretty hot. How's everybody's Sunday going? I know Balance is cooking. Anybody else got any special plans? Or you just stay in the house laying low?
The kids are gone today. So that's nice break.
Yeah, it is nice. It's always nice when you can get a break, especially when you doing it full time.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And you taking that car for a ride?
Man, not today, but I had to put some weed killer down, so that shit's a mother when you got to deal with that. I don't know if y'all have to deal with it, but I deal with it.
Yeah.
You use a spray or you just got a hold of? Must got a lot of grass.
I got one of them big old pumps you put on your back like a backpack pump, and I spray my.
Oh yeah, you was getting to it, man.
Yeah.
So and it's hot outside, so it drains you too. So it just, I had to manicure my lawn. I had, just got people call it I call it manicure, but I had to cut my grass. We had to spray some weed killer now, so it's all good.
Hank, you'll be proud of me because after I went to the grocery store today, I changed my oil.
That's what I'm talking about.
Changed your oil?
I did.
You did it yourself?
I did.
Right.
Did you get a new filter at the same time? You didn't just change your oil?
I got not only for the oil, but for the air too.
So you did the whole process, huh?
Just saying.
I understand. But one day there's gonna be a day where you ain't gotta do that no more, right?
We'll see.
I mean, it was cheaper to take it to the oil change at least 5 years ago it was. Has it gone back down?
No, it's no.
It's still high. It's still high.
Yeah. I mean, you get the 5 quarts jug for damn near less than $20. Get you an oil filter, probably about another $8. And then, of course, like Donna said, she had to change the air filter as well. You probably get one of those by about $12 to $15, and then you do all that yourself. They might charge you about $100 before, by the time you get all that, that's not even the labor.
Yeah.
The only thing I like about that is the liability. If you're having a hard time trying to get that screw out and you wind up stripping it, at least if you take it to the dealership, they are liable for it. But if you do it yourself, then you got to change that whole pan. Right. Depending on what type of car you have, then that what you thought you was gonna be in and out, like shit.
Well, JR, you can't be using a drill trying to take the screw, man. Just get your wrench and just take it off real tough.
Now, depending on what type of car you got, man. I'm not rich like y'all, man. So,
gotcha.
It's on the old cars like 2002 on back. If you start turning in the whole pan, it's doing this with it.
Oh yeah, you got a problem.
You drive a 2002, JR?
Huh?
You drive a 2002?
I was driving a 2005.
What you drive now? A 2022, 23?
No, he got 2024. He got ain't nobody got yet. We know how JR roll.
Nah, I got a 17.
Hey, doesn't get you as long as it gets you to point A to point B, that's all that matters, my brother.
Yeah, I don't even care about cars no more. I mean, I care, but it's just not a priority right now. So, once I get up there, then maybe I'll treat myself.
Yeah, and if you ever have trouble getting that screw off your gas, your oil pan, just use some grease layer or some type of penetration oil like WD-40 or something like that. Definitely.
Oh no, that wasn't working at the time. That wasn't working. I mean, typically I know about the grease, I know about the heat. Sometimes you can heat it up, and that'll do it. You got to get your breaker bar. But I mean, you can take it off, but I think the pan was just so weak. And that was I had a Monte Carlo. That was an 05. And on that Monte Carlo, was it the Monte Carlo? Yeah, it was the Monte Carlo that was doing that. And by that time, I'm like, I might just get rid of it because I'd be damned if I pay that money to get that oil pan.
Well, see, something like that, you go to the junkyard and find a oil pan for something like 05.
I ain't got time for all that.
I got you. My bad.
Yeah, and once you got to start getting too common. I'm not saying for everything, man, but the car was already had a lot of stuff wrong with it anyway, so I just wanted to get rid of it.
So you had to put it out the pasture. I got you.
All right. Let's go get this show started. I appreciate you guys for tuning in to Lapeef-ing Sundays. Make sure you hit the like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Shout out to the sponsor again, Teach Hanley, Uncomplicated Skincare for Men, 30% off along with a free gift. Go ahead and get that Teach pack. That link is in the description. I think one of these shows I'm going to wind up sending somebody some of the product because I don't think y'all really understand and realize how good the product is. So maybe somebody in the chat. I'll do it on King Talk. Y'all tune in to King Talk, and I'll select somebody, and I'll send them some Teach product. And let's see how you like it. And all I ask for you to do is just to send like an email about your thoughts about it, maybe after trying it for a week. And then we'll see if we can get it read on the following show after that. So we'll work it that way. I see who we got in the chat. I know it's Sunday. Everybody probably out. They with family. See, Sugar Curl's in the chat. Ed Hill. Shout out to all my green gang that's in the chat. Mr. BX87. Click that link that's pinned to the top of the chat and go green. I just added some more emojis in there too for some of the folks that's on there. I plan on doing some more. So as long as it will allow me to do. I know there's a limit. I don't know what the limit is. I might have reached it, but if I haven't, I will add some more. Gentlemen, man status, I see you as well. Richard Reeves says happy Sunday. Marquise Keeves, what's going on, brother? I lost somebody. Who was that? It was Layla. Might have been Layla. I can't get this camera. It's like it's just dark in there for some reason. I don't know why. I'll try to fix it throughout the broadcast. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Y'all ready for the first topic, family? First topic of this early evening. That's late evening. Now you're late evening. What you want from your partner is periods of peace punctuated by a good fight. This is from Jordan Peterson. This clip I'm about to play, but it says what you want from your partner's periods of peace punctuated by a good fight. Let me go ahead and play this clip. Let me see if Layla, what happened to her. I probably had to wind up playing it again. Waiting on her. Try to give it 5 seconds. Let me see if I can stall. You want me to go ahead and sing?
I'll take it.
You see, you got bars. You used to have bars back in the day. Give us about a quick 16.
I got old, man.
Oh, okay.
Got old, yeah. I used to have a script up in my head, but I ain't got no script no more. Ran out. I said this is the first thing to go, right? All right. No? Okay, I can play the clip, man. I thought I was trying to wait on. Y'all give me that dry ass look on y'all faces like, come on. Negro, come on. Right.
From your partner. Bliss? No, you don't. You want periods of peace punctuated by a good fight. And because that means you respect them, means you have something to offer each other, and it means that you're both growing. And so you don't want the fight to be too dramatic because, well, then you retreat, you can't settle it. But the person that you can completely map and who only does positive things for you, it's like, A, you don't know that person. B, they're not communicating with you, nor you with them. Maybe they're just subordinating themselves to you or you to them. And you're not growing. You want someone who can, a real relationship is a wrestling match. It's a grappling phenomena that you both emerge transformed from. And that's what people want. They don't want a pushover. Not unless there's something wrong with them. A narcissistic person who never wants to be challenged will want a partner who does nothing but deliver exactly what they're told to deliver. But they will mistreat them beyond belief.
All right, let's go ahead and dive into it. What you want from your partner is periods of peace punctuated by a good fight. Go ahead and start with you, Sugar Curls. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, Jordan Peterson is really good. He has a lot of really good points. This one in particular struck a chord because there's a struggle I see in the community of relationships. When we talk about women being submissive, men being leaders, a woman acquiescing to a man. But in all reality, when as humans, when we are communicating with one another, we're going to have different points. We're going to have different feelings about things. Just because you're my head doesn't mean that I think the way that you think. It doesn't mean that I see the world the way that you see it. So it can be a general conversation or a conversation about something that's major. And I may not think the same way or understand it the way you do. So there may be a little friction, a little tension. And so we have to communicate and work that out. We have to go through the fire, so to speak. Oh, I'm sorry, I hurt your feelings. What I said, I misrepresented, my thoughts. So I do agree with that. I have heard this said by men before. A real man who is in his right energy does not want to push over a woman who just says yes to everything, yes to all his thoughts and all his ways, because she's not being genuine. And that's kind of what the point that he made, that you don't know who that person is. If someone is always saying yes, 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 okay to everything, who really are they? What are their fears? What are their desires? So I can definitely appreciate what he said.
Okay. Go ahead, Luis.
Yeah, that was very interesting. So me, I love a good intellectual and mental challenge. Let the best idea win, right? Um, I don't always have to have it my way, but I always like a good perspective being put in my direction. Um, as far as the peace component, I think that's just a moment to kind of like really, really kind of reflect and think about yourself, right? At least for me, I like to kind of think, I think kind of internally at times. It's sort of, I know a lot of people are a little wired a little bit differently, but I love a good sort of, a good sort of debate and a good challenge at times, because at least it lets me know that I have somebody who's also thinking, at the same wavelength as me, right? Who allows me to see things in a different light and perspective, and I also add insight. So, in terms of just going from peace to a good fight, I don't think that it's meant to kind of, break the spirit of your partner or your person, right? But I think it's just better to kind of challenge them. I think far too often, I don't know if people see good examples of that, like in their day to day lived experiences, right? And sort of, but I think that it does show up different in different aspects. I think we could look at one aspect of what you see at home and what you experience, and then also what you see at work, right? That because those two different approaches tend to kind of be a lot more different in that kind of dynamic, especially between the two sexes. But yeah, I definitely agree with that.
All right. Hey, Layla, you didn't see the video, did you? Can you hear me, Layla? You're on mute, just so you know.
I said negative. But
Okay.
I'm about to go back and watch it, so y'all go ahead.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Paradise.
Two things. There is growth in difficulty, and also people who don't fight, somebody's hiding secrets. And it's like the oldest thing that's always been said. You don't fight, you're hiding something, because you're trying to disguise something behind the peace. I honestly think that a lot of times we look at the disagreement factor in relationships as a negative thing because of the fact that we argue in extremes. More times out than not, people don't understand the difficulty it is to come to a common ground with someone that you're trying to adapt to, someone that you're trying to merge morals with, merge beliefs with, merge values with, and not necessarily talking about a man being the head, but simply just a person saying, hey, I was raised this way. You were raised this way. So my experience of looking at the world is this versus your experience of looking at the world is this. How do we come to a common ground for the same end goal. We always emphasize peace, and a lot of times that's also talked about in an extreme is simply just one party shutting completely up. So I think there can be an equal balance of the two. And when you're talking like in a romantic partnership, I definitely think that a lot of times it does need to be a controlled form of confusion, but also emphasizing how you get back to the peace, conflict resolution.
All right. Balancing codes, what are your thoughts about it? What do you want from your partner's periods of peace punctuated by a good fight?
I follow Jordan Peterson. Am I echoing? Maybe a little. I don't know. So I follow Jordan Peterson, and I agree with most of what he says. This video in particular, it's a good one. I agree. I think most people are on the high end of argument all the time, or the low end where they don't communicate at all. Like they don't have the balance. And I think Jordan Peterson is speaking of the balance, which is why I like him a lot, because he has a lot of experience, not just personal, but professional experience too. So he's like a great mentor to me. Well, I agree exactly with what he said. I think it has to do with having the right balance. So you have to know how to fight each other. You have to know how, when, why. So, I mean, if you're able to do that in a healthy way, then I think you have a healthy relationship. So that's a short version of what I want to say, because I want to work on my sound. Okay.
All right. Brother Hink, what are your thoughts about it, sir?
Yeah, I mean, I know as a man, I definitely love my peace, and for my spouse or my lady to give me that, it's very necessary, right? You have your dollar days at work. You come home, it'd be long and stressful. You already had enough chaos you're dealing with, so you need that. You need that, and hopefully, over a period of time, your significant others, they can recognize, and you don't have to say something. Of course, early on in the relationship, you might let them, hey, give me a moment, saying to gather myself, to collect my thoughts and to do what you need to do. But once you get a little time up under your belt, you get a little more seasoning in the relationship, man. Hopefully she could just see it within your face, your body language, or the way the conversation, how they may not be coming directly towards you because they realize they about to dart straight to wherever that quiet place is so they can get themselves together. So, to me, it's all about boundaries. It's all about boundaries. But as far as the good fight, I don't like that. I don't want to use it. I hate to use the word fight, man, because most times when people say fight, it's really not good. It's really a heated argument that you say stuff that most of the time you really don't mean later on. So I guess a healthy debate. That's the word I guess I prefer to use, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with if y'all can't agree. It's so saying for me, we can agree to disagree. Saying that sometimes we just don't agree. But at the end of the day, as long as we come to some type of understanding and a respectful understanding, we can move from there. So
Yeah, I agree with you, Hink. I think that when you use words like argue and fight, depending on the situation, it can set a tone. But I don't know about y'all. I look at communication as a way for us to grow. I love when people have different perspectives and ideas and ways of doing things, because when you've been doing things your entire life a certain way, to have somebody come in and to give you another way of doing it, or another idea, another way to look at it, and it's respected and trusted, it can be a beautiful thing. So me personally, if we're going back and forth, the goal to me is to seek understanding. And even if the person is not understanding you, I believe in my opinion, that it's your job to make sure that they understand it. So maybe you got to say it a different way. Maybe you got to put some examples in there. But the goal is to understand. And I think if everyone enters a conversation or a dialogue seeking to get understanding, I think the outcome will be better. I think when people are not listening and they just Like they already got their mind made up as far as how they're going to respond before you even said what you said, and they disregard what you're saying. Then I don't think that's healthy, because you have to be a good listener as well as being a good speaker. So when I was listening to that video, I think most people like peace. I won't even say men. I know men like peace, but I think most people want peace. But your outlook and how you conducting yourselves within a relationship, you don't want it to go overboard. That's why you want to have a good fight. No matter what it is, you want to have a good fight. When I say good fight, meaning so that you don't lose the relationship. So hopefully I explained it correctly. But that's my thoughts.
No, man. I mean, that was it. That was it. I mean, look, guys, we us men, we know we're not the best of going back and forth with a woman. It's just not in us like that. And so we just got to know when to walk away from it, right? And don't get to the point where it could possibly get physical, because you're not crafty enough, I guess, to express yourself, right? Because that's what happens to a lot of people sometimes. It gets violent because they don't know how to communicate properly. So instead of using the words, they resort to physical ways to speak their piece, and that's not always good. You know, I know we can get away with doing with another man, but you can't do that with a woman. You cannot do that. So just know when to walk away, and then if you, like I said, you need to let that woman know. Communicate with her. Hey, I need a moment, please. It's just not the time. Man, and if she's one of those overbearing type women, get your keys, get in the car, and you take a ride.
I hear you, Hank, but I also think that that's part of the problem. Like, that's part of the problem, that we're not teaching women how to communicate their frustrations with men in a way where it's respectful and it doesn't provoke a man. Because at the basis of this, we're coming out where so many people are suppressing their issues, right? I want to be able to provide you peace, because you're right. If I come home from a long day of work, you don't know what I had to deal with, and I can't resonate with what you've had to deal with. And at the end of the day, we shouldn't be fighting each other. We should be fighting the problem. But how that's communicated when you got two different separate people from two different walks of life trying to merge their realities together, it definitely needs to be a better way that we discuss our issues without women provoking men still getting their point across, but also without men shutting down and saying, you know what, forget it, she's not going to understand, in order so that we can maintain the healthy balance of the relationship.
Well, it's not about shutting down, because again, men could only say so much, and so much can be said where it like I said, she's just not getting it, right? And so maybe he needs to use that moment to collect his thoughts. It's me leaving or me taking that ride is more than just for her and her safety and her well-being. It's also for my protection. See, because right now there's two ways it can go. It could go to a point where I could put my hands on it, shake her up, or do something like that, or I could say some shit that I'm gonna regret later. And I don't want neither one of those things to happen. So why not step away? If that means I not even have to actually leave, but if I just need to go outside, just take some deep breaths and get myself together to do it. Now, you're right. Women shouldn't be doing this. But again, that's not for us men to teach a woman that. Women should teach other women. Hey, this is not how you speak to a man. When you see a man that's going through it, when he's down, that's not how you need to come in. Give him a moment. Matter of fact, try to find out what's wrong with him. And if he doesn't feel like talking about it at the moment, give him time. He'll come back later. If he loves you, respects you, he's going to share it with you later. This is just not the moment right now. So please give him that moment to get himself right.
Yeah.
That's for the ladies. That's for the ladies to communicate to them. That's for the elder women to talk to them about, or your friends, or your circle of people, your confidants, friends. You know what I'm saying? That's who those are for. Just like the men, I shouldn't go to a woman to tell me how to act as a man, how to carry myself, my man, when I'm getting heated. No. I need to go to the brothers. Bro, man, I'm going through it. I'm having problems. I'm having difficulties. I don't know how to communicate to my woman how I need to move and what I'm trying to say. Bro, can you help me out?
I agree with that. And I can also say women should probably take that position sometimes. Sometimes in the heat of the moment, responding while you're angry may not be it. Calm down and go back and reposition your argument so you can talk to your partner. And maybe that looks like venting your actual frustration with your friends.
Can I add something to Hink and Paradise's point? When we're in relationships and we are communicating, it's often said that our egos can get the best of us in the heat of the moment, our emotions, and then therefore we're not listening. There's a saying that the best teacher is not just someone who can talk and who can communicate their feelings, but who can also listen. So I think that that skill is very important that women learn. Oftentimes you will see a teacher, someone who likes to tell their point. They're constantly telling points. They're constantly telling others what they need to do. But someone who is a skilled teacher is someone who knows how to listen. And I think that carries over well into a relationship when we're communicating. And it helps bring down that friction. It helps bring us back to that peace when we can just take a moment, as mentioned, calm down, maybe take a walk, whatever our method of calming down is, and then listen. It's also a Bible principle that when we hurry to offense, when we hurry to take things, too off course of what's being actually said, we're not listening. So I think that's a very important skill that can be learned for women and men. But because women tend to go into our emotions often, I think listening is very important.
All right. Anybody got anything else they want to add on to this? Guys, just tuning in. Welcome to Lapeef-ing Sundays. Make sure we hit the like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Nurse Fancy, I see you in the chat. Let's see who else we got. Search Shy, I see you as well. Let's go ahead and get into our next topic of this evening. Manipulation is what is best in relationships. For what is best in relationships. Manipulation for what is best in relationships. I'll go ahead and play this clip.
A relationship guru or any of that, but I understand people. And one of the things that I understand the male ego completely, right? Well, not completely, but to a certain degree. Yeah. And so one of the things that I learned is to plant the seed in the man so that it's our idea. At the end of the day, do we want to be, do we want to be right or do we want to be happy? I will plant the seed of what I want to grow. And then when he thinks that it's his idea and he's like, oh, we need to do this, I celebrate him like it was his idea because it is going to protect his ego and it's also going to give me what I want.
Smart for that, yo.
It's not me. I learned that from my mom. I do that inside of business. I do that inside of relationships, and not in a way of manipulation, although technically it is manipulation, but it's manipulation for what is best, right? So if I know that my man can't hear information for me to say, hey, you need to do this way, I'm just gently going to plant a seed over here. And another thing I feel like for me, and this is just me thinking out loud because of what I've been experiencing most recently.
All right. Everybody see the video? And Luis, you see it? Okay. All right, go ahead, Paradise. What's your thoughts about it?
He said something that I always say, manipulation is necessary in every relationship. There can be a form of healthy manipulation when you are not trying to win against your partner, but you are emphasizing something that makes them feel good so you can also get what you want. And I think we do that all the time, especially as women. We're kind of taught that inherently, like when they talk about how you train your man at this, that, and the third, or, a man's way to his heart is through his stomach. Those little colloquialisms are actually kind of manipulation because, they tell you, oh, you have to have all these skills in order to win men over. You also need to look a certain type of way. So in retrospect, we are essentially being taught to manipulate people, or even how we have the whole phrase like work smarter and not harder. So I do think that there is a form of healthy manipulation. I just think that people don't accept the fact that when you're talking manipulation, you're talking about who's the smarter person in the situation.
All right, Sugar Curls, what are your thoughts about it, man?
I'm kind of caught between two different ideas. One of which is I'm not sure that I agree with manipulating to get what we want unless what is being asked from the man that he cannot see is going to be a danger to the family, the relationship. That is my take. If it is not going to cause harm, if it is not going to endanger the relationship, I don't feel a need to plant seeds with my husband because for the most part, he does everything that is needed. Actually, he's probably 5 or 10 steps ahead of me, like with everything. He appreciates my ideas and opinions, and I think in most healthy relationships, our ideas and opinions are appreciated. So voicing those and saying, hey, I would like to have such and such happen, or I really like this. In my mind, I'm not doing it to get what I want. I'm doing it, honestly, because I'm just expressing myself. I'm just expressing my feelings. I'm expressing my thoughts. If I personally want something to happen, I will tell my husband, I would like for this to happen. Can we do things this way? I'm not going to plant anything and be subliminal. That's just because of the way my man communicates. He doesn't like that, pretty fluffy planting seed stuff. Tell me what you want, get it clear and move around. So it may work for other relationships or other people. I'm not saying it's a bad thing or it's negative. I just cannot agree necessarily with that.
I want to play the video one more time.
I'm not a relationship guru or any of that, but I understand people. And one of the things that I understand the male ego completely, right? Well, not completely, but to a certain degree. Yeah. And so one of the things that I learned is to plant the seed in the man so that it's our idea. At the end of the day, do we want to be, do we want to be right or do we want to be happy? I will plant the seed of what I want to grow. And then when he thinks that it's his idea and he's like, oh, we need to do this, I celebrate him like it was his idea because it is going to protect his ego and it's also going to give me what I want. You're smart for that, yo. It's not me. I learned that from my mom. I do that inside of business. I do that inside of relationships and not in a way of manipulation, although technically it is manipulation, but it's manipulation for what is best, right? So if I know that my man can't hear information for me to say, hey, you need to do this way, I'm just gently going to plant a seed over here. And another thing I feel like for me, and this is just,
I don't know. Balance, what are your thoughts about it?
See, you're going to get me caught up. How's my sound? Is it better? Okay. So Sarah, who you just played, is actually my friend in real life. So I'm going to be real careful what I say right here because I love her. She's so dope in real life. But, okay. If I'm being honest, she's telling the truth. She's telling the secrets. She don't need to tell everybody all the secrets all the time. Like if I was there, I'd be like, girl, you gotta say everything all the time because this actually works. And not only does it work with just men, it works with people in general. I do this with my family. I do it with my brothers, my cousins. I do it with my female friends. Wait, can I say female? Because some people are sensitive to that. So I'm gonna say my lady friends. I don't even, at this point, 2023, I don't know what I could say.
Don't worry about it.
My women friends, I do it in general. And a lot of times you plant seeds and months later, they have the idea and they're like, you think I should do this? I'm like, yeah, that's a great idea. I think if you're not doing it in a malicious way, it's a great way to help people that may not see things right away. So, I mean, you can say it directly too. I'm not against the direct approach, but it depends on the person. Some people can take things directly. Some people take things better indirectly. It depends on who you're speaking to. You can't speak to every single person the exact same way. You have to speak to people as who they are, not who you are, but who they are. And once you learn that skill, then you can communicate with any type of person. So, I appreciate Sarah. She's smart, and but she ain't got to tell all the secrets all the time. I'm gonna leave it there.
Can you give me an example when you said that it's one of the, she's giving all the secrets. And
yeah, because this is something that you
example.
could, sorry. Yes, this is something you could do in a relationship with a man that works. And our grandmothers, she said her mom, my grandmother told me this. So this is something that women pass down to each other. So that in a sense is why I say it's a secret. But really, you know, hey, if you want to share it on here, you can. But people will twist, call it manipulation and call it something negative. If you have negative intent, it's negative. If your intent is not negative or malicious, it could be very helpful.
All right. So can you give me an example of when this happens?
Of when you do it to people?
Yeah.
I can give you an example of when I did it to my cousin. So my younger cousin, I was about to say his name, but let me not. He was working a job where he was an exterminator, and he would get sick from the chemicals. So he was like, he's thinking of going into another job field, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, that's a great idea. You should. But he didn't know what he wanted to do. He had no idea what he wanted to do. So I was like, well, you know, unfortunately, you had this disease and it was a terrible thing for you to get cancer at such a very young age. So I'm like, what if you was like a speaker and was talking about the signs of getting this type of cancer at this age and all the signs that you saw, but you didn't know what it meant, because, you know, a lot of Black men don't go to the doctor. And he was like, you know, I never thought about that, but I'm not really into being in front of a large crowd. I don't know if I could do it. And then he just kind of threw it off. And then months later, he was like, you know what? That's a good idea. I'm going to do my YouTube channel speaking on this in particular, that particular cancer that he had. So I was like, makes sense to me. You should do it. So it's like stuff like that is planting seeds. It doesn't have to be malicious. It's just helping somebody see something that they may not be able to see in themselves at the moment. So, yeah.
JR, you're on mute. Did you say something?
Yeah, I was asking if you had wanted to say something. I saw you come off the mic.
Yeah, because y'all got super quiet. I was like, can y'all still hear me? Because y'all are quiet. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I was going to ask the same question JR asked with Paris and with balancing codes is, can you give me an example so that I can understand your perspective with regard to in a relationship? Because I think the lady was speaking. I don't know if she was speaking in general or not. I'm not sure, but I think she was speaking to within a relationship in particular. I would like to know, how can a woman do this, plant that seed, and then when it's his idea, not divulge that, hey, I actually said this is my idea. Let him keep it as his idea. Can you give me an example of when that happens?
Yeah, absolutely. First and foremost, let's just go ahead and get this out the way. When you talking manipulation, you're trying to get someone to do something that benefits you, but in retrospect, you also healthy manipulation. You also do it to benefit them. Because anytime we're talking manipulation, the idea is that it's a negative thing because there is somebody who's losing out. Subsequently, one person is not as intelligent as the other. So if you're talking like an intimate partnership, right? You can want your partner to make a financial decision. And you can want them to make a financial decision because, you know, like a lot of times we spend money, et cetera, et cetera. So you can basically like leave little hints around where it constantly pops up. Kind of how our Bluetooth does when you're thinking about a TV or something like that. All of a sudden, you're looking on your phone, and then here goes a TV ad. It's kind of like the same situation. You can want them to make a financial decision or invest. You can be saying, "Oh, I want to go into this particular realm," and you can set it up to where instead of you poison the idea, you know, get them integrated with somebody who could potentially be a mentor already in that particular game. And now you manipulated them into starting the conversation with you. And you manipulated them into potentially getting, you know, their ideas structured around that. So when you go into it, you know, you already have majority of the education. Now you guys are, you know, discussing this financial decision. So it's a lot of different ways. I even see how we do it with children, right? we call it bargaining, but really it's manipulation. If you're saying, hey, if you clean up your room, I'll do this for you, because I know this is what you want. Now, on an average day, we know we're not giving kids candy before we feed them regular food. But if you tell them, hey, you go pick up these toys and I'll give you candy, it's like, essentially, it is a form of manipulation. We're just not directly calling it it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of it. Also, when you said it depends on the person, yes, it does. Some dudes you can tell it and blow smoke up their ass because their ego's too goddamn big. And if you tell them any truth, it will kill them out. I'm not that dude. I can't stand that shit. Don't play mind games with me. Don't bullshit me. Just straight up and tell me. I'd rather you be honest with me, and I'll deal with the consequences. I'll deal with the truth. I'll handle whatever the situation is. But don't play mind games with me. Bullshit. For example, parents did it earlier. Now I don't know. I think it was a pre-show. She manipulated me when she said what she said. I understood what she was doing, but that's okay because we're not in a relationship. She can get away with that bullshit more. Now, if she's my woman, yeah, that would have been a problem. We would have had to have a conversation after post-show.
How do it if you recognize that I manipulated you?
Oh, I did. I recognize that.
How did I manipulate you, but you are acknowledging that it was manipulation? Because for those two truths to exist, then I would be the only person who was aware.
Well, first of all, I don't want to talk about what we talked about in the pre-show, but if you want me to talk about it, I will. I'm not going to do that. It's not for the audience. But please believe me, I acknowledge what you was doing and what you said, and I recognize that, and that's okay. But again, we're not together. But if I'm with my lady, I don't want her to play mind games, bullshit me, piss down my back, tell me it's raining. Don't do that shit with me, because to me, you're playing games, and we too old for this. I'm 48 years old. I ain't got time for that shit. If this is what you want, this is what you want. Let me know, and we'll do it. But if it's not what you want, don't try to trick me, con me, tell me, oh, I think it would be nice if me. No, don't do that. Just be straight up honest. I would like to go to this destination. Yeah, we went there last year. I don't want to go back there again. Cool. I can handle that. But when you try to trick me, con me, and make me, no, don't do that. Don't do that at all.
But it's not a trick, Hank, though. Like, it's like, think about it like this. Like say you and your woman right now wanted to move to a particular neighborhood. Okay. And she did all the research about this neighborhood. You didn't. So she comes to you and she says, "Hun, do you know that this neighborhood has the best schools and it has this and this and this and this and this? What do you think about it?" And you're like, "Oh, I never really thought about it. Let me do my research about it." And then a week later, you're like, "We should move to this neighborhood." And she's like, "Yeah, that's a great idea." Like, that's not, like, why would you think that's negative?
Don't try to sell me on some more other shit that, it really, the shit that's really not going to really affect us. Now, okay, do they have good schools for our kids? Okay, I can accept that. But when you coming up with some, this is it. No, come on, man. I don't care about the neighborhood association. I don't care that they have a lot of local grocery stores, a good shopper, or eatery. I don't care about none of that bullshit. Save that. Save some shit there's some substance to me. So if my kids can go to this school and it's a good school, it's a high, high marks on school. Yeah, okay, cool. That sounds like a great opportunity for our kids to be involved in. That's the neighborhood we'll go to. But just say it. Don't beat around the bush, though.
So I get what you're saying, Hank. You're saying, like, give me the opportunity to exactly know what's going on without limited details, because at the basis of it, that person wants something. They have an ulterior motive. That's exactly what it is. Like, when you're having a conversation with somebody and you're like, we in a relationship, where does this come from? Why all of this excitement? But in retrospect, how me and Balancing are looking at it as it is a skill. Because instead of me trying to fight with you or trying to dominate you, I'm looking at it as a way of giving you something that you want so I can get something that I want. However, whoever has the greatest gain has nothing to do with me. Because essentially it could backfire, right? You could end up getting something that you want, but I end up having a greater gain. For instance, right? If we're talking intimate partnerships, the conversations now are, well, everybody sharing multiple men. So why you just won't be in a polygamous relationship? That is a manipulative deception thing, because you can't make people want polygamy because they're letting single people do what single people do when their whole idea of relationships is monogamy. But the way the conversation is preferenced is, well, if as a single man, I'm talking to 3 different women, then why you just won't be in a committed relationship with me? And I still talk to 3 different women, but I'm not hiding it. At that point, you got a man who is trying to get something that he wants to say, hey, I got 3 different women and I want all of y'all and I'm tired of hiding it. But he's trying to preface it to these women to tell them the benefits of being in this situation, because technically he's already the person in the situation. So like I said, I think it's a useful skill. I think it's how you do it. And I also think that we teach it. We teach it inadvertently. We don't try to, but a lot of times people are upset about it because whether it's a job or whether it's you teaching your kids or whether you in an intimate relationship, we're all manipulating people to get what we want. We just hate the word manipulation because it has a negative connotation, and all it is a balancing act of give and take.
So you're going to beat around the bush just to tell me I want to have some stray ass.
People do it all the time. People
Fuck that, just tell me. Just get to the point. Just get to the point.
How many people
I want to have some side ass. Just say it. Don't be. No, person. But that's the problem. We're not. This not a business deal. We're not trying to negotiate. You trying to get the up on me. Stop doing that. Tell me you want some stray ass or you want some straight dick, and then we'll move accordingly. If I agree with it, then let's go do it. If I don't bring it up again.
Well, if that was the conversation, then we wouldn't have so many people trying to tell other people why they
should. Get straight to the point, man. Stop all this fluff shit. I don't need fluff. I need substance. So fluff ain't gonna fill my belly. Give me that meat and potatoes. Sorry, Bowser, I need that steak. I'm sorry. I know you don't like it. I need that steak.
Different things. When you sign up for stuff and they put them terms and conditions in the bottom of it, guess what? You're getting manipulated because they know you're not reading it.
Again, and I told you, I expect that from somebody I'm doing business with. But somebody I'm in a relationship, don't do that. Don't play games. We too old for this shit. That's the problem right now. People playing too many goddamn games. Get straight to the point. And then we adjust and adapt. I make a decision where I want to rock with you or I do not want to rock with you. You play games like that, you're going to get hurt. Don't do that.
Let me bring up Kenya. Did I say that correctly? I know you wanted to chime in on this.
Yeah, can I? Oh, so when you start talking about polygamy, you want me to chime in on it?
I didn't hear you.
No, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
You hear me? Okay. No, I said when you're talking about polygamy, you want me to chime in on it?
You can chime in whatever you want.
Oh, I'm just playing with you.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, how you guys doing, bro?
Doing good. About yourself?
Doing good. The thing is this, right? The way I see it is that sometimes women struggle with their femininity. They don't know if they want to be feminine or masculine. You see what I'm saying? So they struggle a lot with it. Men don't struggle with it. We show emotion when we want to show emotion because it requires we show emotion, but we always operate in our masculinity. Manipulation. When a woman manipulates a man, most men will not complain about it as long as it's to benefit of the family. You see what I'm saying? But when manipulation is done for her benefit, that's where it becomes a problem. Because you have to understand that most women always will manipulate for their own benefit. That's why men don't like to be manipulated. They would rather have you, just like King said, go straight to the point. Especially when they've had experience with you of manipulating stuff for your own benefit. But if they have experience with you that your femininity approach, right, or your feminine approach is usually to the benefit of the family, they love that. Because that's your communication skill. That's how you communicate. you're consistent. Men love consistency. So there is that consistency from you of doing things like that and getting the family what they want. Nothing is wrong with you going to a neighborhood to figure out what is the best for your family in a neighborhood. And then coming back to your husband and suggesting it to him. But making your husband feel like he's the one, you know, picking out a neighborhood, whereas you've already been there before. Come on now. That's not manipulation that makes any sense. That's, to me, it's not a manipulation. It's not a manipulation to the benefit of the family. You know, it's just somebody using our femininity as a weapon. You feel me? It's more like a weapon of deceit. So if you want to manipulate a man in that instance, just go and get it and find a good neighborhood and come to your husband and say, hey, I found a good neighborhood. Good schools, our kids are going to have better grades, the neighbors are good, good black people, good white people, whatever you come up with. Tell him, show it to him. And most of the time, men prefer women to go and do the searching. We don't want to do the searching. We don't want to go there and look for neighborhood. That is not our thing. I don't want to go look for neighborhood. If I want to get a neighborhood where we're going to live, I want to get a neighborhood where I can drink beers, have fun, play soccer with my buddies. I'm not going to be thinking about good grades for the kids. It's a woman that thinks about good grades for the kids. So you go find that. Don't make a man feel like he's the one that is finding it. That's not a... You know, sometimes, let me tell you guys something, right? Sometimes there are things that women do, and they think they're making a man feel like he's the one that found it. And we know that you are the one that want us to go there. But we just ride with it. But deep subconsciously, right? We already know that she's full of shit. Or she's just thinking that she's trying to make me feel good. And stuff like that, men don't like it. I don't like it. I believe that's why Hank was reacting the way he reacted, because he doesn't like it either. But, and another thing is that girls that operate like that, to us, she has masculinity, but she's painting femininity on it. So she has a masculine trend. When she operates like that, we see it as she has a masculine trend, but she's trying to act like she's a feminine woman. That's all I got to say. You guys continue.
All right, does anybody want to respond to that? You guys agree? I
like my man in EJ got y'all ladies figured out.
Yeah. Like I seen Balance, she was agreeing, and Paradise was agreeing as well.
Yeah, I agree with him. Like I said earlier, I can only speak from my experience. And the way he described what he observed with the lady is many women do this. They put off this feminine kind of cloaked kind of sheet in presentation, but their procedures and the way they think and the way they move have masculine traits and energy to it. So we have these different dynamics of women, those that are truly feminine, those that pretend to be feminine because they want to be accepted by certain types of men. And I didn't know how to describe it, but he described it in a very good way. And so I concur with that.
I actually don't agree with him.
Come on to the dark side, Sugar Curls. Come on to the dark side.
Well, that's because I have a different perception of manipulation. So if we're talking about like manipulation, the basis of it, manipulation is just who's smarter than who. Everybody gets manipulated. It's not a woman thing, and it's not femininity versus masculinity. It's literally who has the more dominance. Now, if we want to make it a gender specific thing, women are supposed to be smarter than men. So I guess you would say that women are more versed in manipulation than men, but this is something that we have been teaching for ages, especially if you're talking in traditionalized family structure or traditionalized relationships. If you don't argue with your man, if you give him peace, or a woman who asks for nothing gets everything. That's manipulation. Because subsequently, a man is telling a woman, if you be quiet, then whatever it is that you think you want, I automatically give it for you. Or if you're telling a woman, hey, you have to train your man, you got to give him this in order to get that. At the end of the day, it's all a balancing act. We're all doing it. We're just doing it in different ways. You're bargaining with people, and you're just out bargaining the person who's smarter than you, or who may not be smarter than you, because everybody don't fall for it.
Okay. Balance, you want to say anything? No? You have a dog in this fight?
Balance, I offer the invitation to come to the dark side. You don't want to accept the invitation? Paris is thinking about it. It's only a matter of time.
It's all good. All right. We'll go ahead and get to this next topic. Go ahead. You want to say something?
Yeah. The thing is this, right? Manipulation, because manipulation, like I said before, is something that, let me put it this way. There are two best ways to get a man to do something for you. Number one is after when you give him good food. You talk to him, but he's not going to respond. Don't ask him questions to respond, because sometimes men don't like to eat and talk. I'll be honest with you, but some girls misunderstand this. When they see a man eating, they want to make a conversation with him. A man gets off from work, gets home, don't want to talk. When he's eating, he doesn't want to talk. But if you talk for him not to respond, you can say a lot of things, because that's the best time he listens. That's number one. Number two, a lot of women like to talk to a man before sex. That's manipulative. Men don't like that. Talk to a man after sex. But don't piss him off either. But find a way to talk to him after sex. Men love to listen to you after sex. Because guess what? They feel good. Those are not manipulation to him. But it might be manipulation to you that, oh, I'm trying to manipulate him. But you're not really manipulating, because guess what? You're saying something when he's feeling good. And when he's feeling good, he's going to do anything for you.
So it's okay. It's just not okay when women do it, because at the basis of manipulation, it's just lying. That's all it is. It's just lying. And that's the problem with it, because it's dishonesty. You're essentially allowing another person to believe whatever it is that they need to believe, so you can get whatever it is that you want to get. And men do it all the time. So at this point, if we're gonna make it like a gender thing, right, and not necessarily a skill set, because we can apply this all across the board. Manipulation.
I gotta tell you something, Paris, right? Precious of Paris, Paris, right? I gotta tell you this, Paris. Relationship is all about a man. You have to understand this, okay? Whatever you do in a family, it's for the man. I'll tell you that. Whatever you do in a family is for the interest of the man. You know why? Because all those things that you're doing in that family, you're accumulating stuff that he has to transfer to his legacy, which means to his son. His sons are going to carry his legacy into the future. You see what I'm saying? So, all you have to do in that house is to build on his legacy.
Well, I tell you, the American woman in me does not understand that.
Guess what? The problem that the American woman has is that the American woman thinks that men only function in America. But I got to tell you this, men are the same all over the world. It's not America. Men in Europe, men in Africa, men in America, I've talked to men all over the world, and all the men are the same. Women love changes, men don't. Women love to change in the morning. You love to change in the afternoon. You love to change in the evening. So many of the women on this chat don't even like what the hell I'm talking about. You know why? Because they love changes. most of the men in the chat agree with me because you know what? Men don't want to change. What are we changing for? We love the world the way it is. You see what I'm saying? So what you got to understand is this. A man's number one interest is not him. Not even him. A man's number one interest is legacy, his children, his sons, the ones that will continue his last name. So if you are going to do something that benefits his sons, right? Now you're talking. That's the way he thinks. So it's not about you. It's not even about him. It's about his seeds.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I want you to hang tight real quick. I'm just going to put you in the backstage so we get to the next topic, and I'll bring some people up on the back end, okay? All right. I'm kind of glad you and Paradise, Sugar Curls, and Balance. I'm glad everybody agreed. It's good to see when we can all agree on something. So
yeah, but you don't let me go on soliloquies like that. Like you'll be cutting me off after like 30 seconds. That's all I'm saying.
No, I don't cut nobody off.
No, see that. You see what they see what you just did there, JR? She just started that manipulation. She planted the seed right there. So now this next topic, she gonna go on the squirrel. Look at her, boy. I tell you, they nickel slick, JR. They nickel slick in this street, baby. Y'all better watch them.
I'm just
you guys open. I see you, Balance. I know what you're doing.
All right, we did have one super chat come through. Billy Goat Gruff $5 says it's scary. They seeing nothing wrong with this. Black men pay attention. This says a lot about black women, and they're standing on it. If your woman agrees, run fast. I think I had a question though. Like I'm wondering if men do it. Like, you think men do it?
Yeah, men do it all the time. I brought up several different ways.
How?
The conversation of polygamy. That conversation isn't actually burst for what the benefit of it for men. A lot of times when men are having the conversation, they're telling women how it could benefit you. You're intentionally trying to tell me, hey, if I were to be in a relationship with two other women and you out loud publicly, then this would be a better benefit to you than it is me. Or how men do it when we talk about sex, like knowing that a lot of times men only want sex in a situation, so they take the choice away, and then they kind of lead women on into doing X, Y, and Z. Practicing a relationship without a relationship is very hard to get a commitment out of men today, but men are getting commitment by slightly dabbling in and out the door. Like, there are a lot of ways we're doing it. We're just not acknowledging it.
Parents, man, stop. You need to stop this shit. Man, don't be doing all that. You sound crazy talking about polygamy. You think every man talk about more? Stop. Men and I talk about I have multiple people like that. That's not the average conversation for a man. No, it's not.
We are not dating. You are a married man, so unless you are interested to date, you cannot.
I'm not married yet, but I will be. But the thing about it, I never even thought about having that conversation about bringing a second or third option in as a woman. First of all, you get on my goddamn nerves. I'm struggling to deal with one, let alone two or three. Oh, hell no. Then your menstrual's going to sync up and I got to deal with that headache. I'm good.
I know. The thing is, you can't take how you operate, how you behave, because if you only applied what you do in situations, then y'all wouldn't have things like beta males, simps, wimps, deadbeats. None of these things would be across the category. The same way we wouldn't have hoes, prostitutes, deadbeat moms, and all of these other things that we do not agree with. So just because you're not in spaces to hear the conversation or you don't have the experience, don't mean you ain't getting proposition. The same way there are conversations of men who have said, if you don't have a threesome with me, I'll leave you. It's being utilized in a multitude of ways. Women do it to get commitment. Men do it to get sex.
How's that manipulation? If he's sitting there telling you, if you don't have a threesome with me, I'll leave. He straight up and tell you what he gonna do. He ain't manipulating. I'm straight up. You don't give me a second person in our relationship. You don't give me your friend to come over and get this three thing going. I'm leaving. He straight up tell you what the hell he doing. How's it a manipulation? I'm telling you what I'm going to do. I'm not trying to trick you into it. I want some extra ass.
We go ahead and not get this. Oh man, somebody in the comments.
What we got here?
Somebody in the comments said that Paris and Hank is pure comedy.
Now I'll tell you how we got here, Balance. Parents manipulated the conversation and got us here.
Oh, boy.
All right,
so let's see what you go, Paris.
We're gonna go ahead and get into our next topic, which is relationship anxiety. Relationship anxiety. I do have some slides I'm gonna bring up, and then I'll play the clip. It says, "Why you obsess over your partner and become possessive?" Known as relationship anxiety, refers to a common pattern of attachment in relationships where an individual experiences heightened levels of insecurity, worry, and fear surrounding their partner's availability, commitment, and affection. People with an anxious attachment style often seek levels of validation, reassurance, and closeness from their partner and may have a constant and intense fear of abandonment. Let me see if I can move this banner out the way real quick. Symptoms of an anxious attachment: fear of abandonment, constant need for reassurance, hypervigilance towards any threats to the relationship, intense jealousy and possessiveness, overly invested in a relationship from early on, difficulty trusting. This last slide. This attachment style can be attributed to early life experience such as inconsistent or unpredictable caregiving in childhood, which led to a lack of secure attachment formation. As a result, individuals struggle to feel secure in a relationship and may have difficulty regulating their emotions. Go ahead and play this clip.
Side of adult relationships, you tend to be quite put together and you're okay. The moment you start falling in love, your brain starts to work out how and when this person is going to leave and assume at some point they're going to cheat on you or at some point they're going to hurt you. The moment you get together with them, you launch your investigation. You start to look for evidence that this person is not right for you. But in the process of looking for that evidence, you start to get preoccupied with them and you form a bit of an obsession. You start looking for things, you start asking about them, you start checking when they're online. In your desperate attempt to kind of keep this person or control this person, you almost self-sabotage, because by the time you do hear from them, you've got all this built up anger and resentment and accusations. So you end up always fighting. And in that process of trying to love them and trying to stay connected to them, you actually end up pushing them away. When you're growing up, especially in the early years of infanthood, what would have happened is your parents were inconsistent. It led you to believe that at some point in time, whoever loves you is going to leave you.
I need to play one more time. Yeah. He can say, yeah, I'll play one more time.
Outside of adult relationships, you tend to be quite put together and you're okay. The moment you start falling in love, your brain starts to work out how and when this person is going to leave and assume at some point they're going to cheat on you or at some point they're going to hurt you. The moment you get together with them, you launch your investigation. You start to look for evidence that this person is not right for you. But in the process of looking for that evidence, you start to get preoccupied with them and you form a bit of an obsession. You start looking for things, you start asking about them, you start checking when they're online. In your desperate attempt to kind of keep this person or control this person, you almost self-sabotage, because by the time you do hear from them, you've got all this built up anger and resentment and accusations. So you end up always fighting. And in that process of trying to love them and trying to stay connected to them, you actually end up pushing them away. When you're growing up, especially in the early years of infanthood, what would have happened is your parents were inconsistent. It led you to believe that at some point in time, whoever loves you is going to leave you.
Let's go ahead and discuss this relationship anxiety. Relationship anxiety. Go ahead, Paris. What are your thoughts about it, man?
That's a very common attachment style. Also, another one is called like avoidance attachment style, where people just fear commitment altogether, which is why they don't necessarily keep people around too long. They're self-destructing. When you talking like anxious people and their anxious attachment style, I personally believe that it does root down to their parents and the lack of attention, or I believe that their very first emotional, intimate experience was probably a form of damage to them that they haven't quite gotten away from or learned how to cope with, because those things typically negate back to like a person fearing being ghosted. They always want some form of closure. They always are very kind of overbearing with their partner. Those different types of behaviors, like super jealous. They want to be a little bit controlling. They always have a lot of trust issues. When you're talking like a anxious attachment style, it really does help to know like the different characters of behaviors, because I do think that those people actually like they have imposter syndrome. They cause a lot of problems in relationships because they are easy to become codependent.
All right, go ahead, Balance. What are your thoughts about it, man?
Yeah, that's why I always talk about therapy, because in the beginning, this type of relationship could look like, wow, this person loves me, they're flattered with me, they're obsessed with me, and it could feel good. It could stroke your ego and make you feel like, wow, this person is really in love with me. I love this attention. But then as time goes on, you see how unhealthy it is, how unhealthy and sick it is. This happened to me. This person will go through your laptop. Your cell phone will follow you where you go, jump out on you in the bushes. It could get real crazy. It could get real psycho real quick. So that person needs to heal within before they date anybody, because it could get dangerous. Because once you're at that level of not being able to control your emotions, people that can't control their emotions do crazy things like shoot people, like stab people. So we're forgetting that this is like mental health issues. It's not just simply oh, it's just an attachment style. It's mental health issues. And these people need to get therapy before somebody gets hurt. Have you guys ever seen that show Snapped? I used to watch that a lot. I probably used to watch it too much. I don't really watch TV now. But years ago, I used to be obsessed with that show Snapped. And it's like everything was fine, and then they just snapped and killed their partner. And it's always the spouse or the girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, ex-boyfriend. It's always the intimate partner, because they were obsessed and probably had this attachment style. So I think it's great to talk about, but really it's something we should pay attention to and have some caution with it, right? So I just want to say that.
Is it me, or do crazy people have a certain look about them?
No,
No?
they do not. They do not. They come in all shapes and sizes and colors, men, women. You cannot tell. You cannot tell. But remember that movie? Remember that movie with with Martin Lawrence? Come on, y'all gotta remember this movie. And she was asking him, "Do you love me?"
Between love and hate.
That's what that just reminded me of, for sure. She didn't look crazy until the end, where her eyes got all big. It's like, oh,
I mean, that was a movie, but I don't know. I think certain people have a look.
I think we actually could identify like people who were deranged. We had less people who were victims, because like even with that irrational behavior, to me it's a mental thing, JR. Like to me it's this person brought it out of you, but this other person didn't for whatever reason, based off of what you were attracted to in them. Because everybody ain't getting that one woman who busts your windows or who hiding in the bushes at your house or pulling up on you. But you know she capable of doing it, and she did it with somebody before.
Paris, can I ask you a question, man? Really? Is that what we doing?
Go ahead.
Have you ever did that to a man? Have you ever pulled up on his house and bust his windows out of his car, set his car on fire, leave your dirty drawers in the obvious place? Have you ever did that?
No.
Thank you. I just wonder, because you got that look about you.
Really? Are we doing it?
I'm just teasing. Don't take it to heart, man.
Oh wow. Go ahead, Sugar Curls. Relationship anxiety.
So I firmly believe in this. It is research that anxiety is just strictly that nervous system reaction within us that has been stored, because earlier in our childhood, as the lady mentioned, our parents were not consistent or somehow abandoned us, and we had to detach from our parent, one or both parents. And then at some point in life, in order to cope with that abandonment and that detachment from our parent, we abandon ourselves internally. So we have some of us, a lot of us, have that child that either it was adolescent, either it was a teenage child, whatever period, even a young adult that's still within us. And so when we get into these relationships, that nervous system reaction is triggered because it's unfamiliar. If we're in a healthy relationship, as she said, we do well when we're outside with people. But when it's time to love someone, when it's time to be in a healthy relationship, it feels uncomfortable, actually. If we're used to coping in that way, we're used to coping in the way of avoiding, being suspicious, not trusting. And then we have someone that is actually showing us something healthy. If you haven't experienced it, it's really difficult to explain, but it feels uncomfortable.
I can help you. I can help you. I got it.
Okay. But it is something that can be worked through with professionals. There are certain books that some people are healthy enough to go through on their own, because some of us do need assistance. We're not stable enough to go through it. But once we can, I don't want to use the word heal, but once we can get through that period, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And we can actually learn to love ourselves in such a beautiful way. Like, we see ourselves in such a different light. Like, where was this person? This person was here this whole time inside of me. So I appreciate the lady bringing out these points, because many of us don't understand this.
Mm-hmm.
We don't understand what this means.
And I can preface it by saying the best way to see it, if you ever have that one girlfriend where when y'all are single, she's always available, she's always multifaceted, she has a multitude of hobbies, etc., etc. But as soon as she get into a relationship, she only has time for work and her man. That is a very terrible attachment style, and we look at it as a way of oh, well, a woman falling into her nature. Actually, it's not, because when you had back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, etc., women had other hobbies that they would be able to do to prioritize and balance social, family, as well as work. And when you see that, you immediately know, okay, well, when she comes out of this situation, she is going to have a very hard time figuring out who she is and what she wants to do and who she used to be, because her attachment style is anxiety, is extremely codependent.
All right. Brother Hink, your thoughts about it?
Well, I don't know. I mean, what Perry just said right there made me, I don't know. To me, what's wrong with a woman being into her man?
Oh boy.
What is wrong with that? What is wrong with a woman focused on her man, locked into her man, dedicating her life to her husband or her significant other? When did that become a problem?
Hey, that's not the issue, and that wasn't the point of the statement. The point was when a person no longer has no identity, right? So the only time you are able to have your persona is when you're doing it through a man. That's problematic.
Well, it's just not just a man. It's her man, her significant other, hopefully her husband. You understand what I'm saying?
I have a question for you. If your woman, if your current woman was obsessed with you to the point where every time you left the house, she called you 20 times. She told you she was worried about where you're going, who you're going to be with, what time you're going to be home. She constantly calls you, constantly checks on you. She pops up at places where you are. You wouldn't feel a certain way about that? You would be flattered by that?
No, what I would do is have a conversation with her. That's what I would do, and I let her know, hey.
Most behaviors are an attachment style that are unhealthy.
First, I thought she was talking to me. So can you please allow me to answer the question, ma'am? Thank you. I would have that conversation with her, let her know, hey, I appreciate that. I appreciate the attention. I appreciate all of that. And I know you into me, because I'm that type of person you should be into, right? So, but I also need for you to let me breathe. Allow me to live. Allow me to do what I need to do. Allow yourself to miss me. Because guess what? I'll be back. Lord's willing and the creek don't rise. Perhaps you may speak.
But what I'm saying, Hank, what if she's going through your phone and then you say that and she doesn't change anything? Matter of fact, it gets worse because they're so obsessed. It's an attachment like disorder in there, like a mental disorder. They're attached. Your conversation did nothing. Now they're even more.
So if that's the case, then now she has no respect for me and my point of view and my wishes. And now I need to eliminate the relationship.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah, I don't do crazy. Nothing about crazy is sexy to me. Nothing. So I will eliminate the relationship and tell her good luck in all of her endeavors. But to answer the question, look, men love hard, right? Men love hard. I mean, once you get that man and he realize how much he needs love. Men are like this, really. In some way. Now I know you have them tough guys. No, man, I ain't like you lying your ass off. Because please believe, let another man come up here and try to make a move on your woman. You be the first one ready to jump up, ready to fight. You be the first one ready to, to go to jail and lose your life over that woman. Why? Because you love her that much and you want to protect your interests. And I understand, I respect that, right? So yeah, we look. Drive us to the point where give us heart attacks, anxiety attacks, panic attacks. That's how some of your ladies do to us sometimes. Now, whether y'all are manipulators like prayers like to do, or it's just straight up, saying just the sweetness and that beautiful femininity about you. I don't know. But that's the way it is sometimes.
I've determined you
yes,
like
ma'am.
me. You got a funny way of showing it.
You said what? What'd you say?
I've come to the conclusion you like me. You just have a very funny way of showing it.
Oh, okay. There you are. If that's what you think, then so be it.
Oh, that's what I know.
I like you because you're good. You're a black woman. Okay, I like it. But I love my lady. And that's all that matters.
All right. Go ahead, Luis.
I know a lot of people were sitting on the edge of their seat, whether they were at home or in the car, when they heard that video drop of that woman explain in detail about people's, behaviors, act, and the steps that they've taken in certain relationships. And unfortunately, to the reality of where we are as a society, I think that people tend to kind of attract this sort of gray person that tends to kind of be one way and then show up another, right? Everybody talked about, therapy and healing and stuff like that. But let's be honest, a lot of people are not going to be honest with themselves and disclose the fact that they really should not be dating or they really shouldn't be pursuing anybody in any particular way because they know themselves that they're not going to be open about what triggers them. It triggers me that you didn't call me. It triggered me that you didn't message back quick enough. It triggered me that you did this. It triggered me that you went out and you didn't tell me, right? These are type of things that people don't really say up front because it will seem controlling, it will seem manipulative, it will seem excessive, right? And those are all red flags that people understand the play at hand that they don't want to show their cards, right? So they'll be subtle, they'll move in a particular type of way, and they'll hide those types of anxieties, right? And I love what the woman said towards the end. I think a lot of people seen these people seen these kind of soap opera situations in their childhood, right? That they're showing up in their adulthood, right? Their parents were inconsistent. They seen the rocky marriages, the different affections of love, right? It has created an anxiety in a lot of people, especially if you were the person who was young and were not exposed to consistency. And sort of now when you're in a relationship, you're always doubting whether that person is going to be consistent with you, whether they're going to leave you. So you're always trying to stay one step ahead. You're always trying to be suspicious of that person. But in reality, you're really, poisoning your own well of your relationship, right? And it was interesting that Balance brought up something like that whole, what's it called? Snatch, right? And you're wondering, how people have that look.
I think she said snap.
Oh, snap! Sorry. Anyways, once upon a time in our society, and I don't know if anybody knows this, once upon a time in our society, we used to criminalize people based off how they look. They had that particular stern demeanor. Their eyes were very, very, very small, or they had this stern look to their face. And they used to create these profile images, these profile sketches. And this is how people would profile and typecast individuals who had a particular type of look, who they felt that this person might be able to kill somebody. This person is in this category, right? And so that was a way of kind of typecasting individuals prior to, but that was just my example.
So can you guys hear me pretty good? I think I'm
Yes, we can.
So I used to work for a suicide hotline that was national. And I will tell you, the most common call that we received on a daily basis, if I take maybe 60 to 70 calls a day, more than half of those calls had to do with the relationship breaking apart. And it made a person call a suicide hotline because they want to take their life. That's obsessive. It's obsessive. And I just want to say, whether a person's suicidal, homicidal, because of a relationship ending, that's some inner work that you have to do on yourself, and you need to get therapy. I just want to end it with that. That's it.
It's also a lack of self-love too. Self-love, self-appreciation. I actually agree with the sentiment that Sugar Curls had brought up earlier. She's like, I don't think people are strong enough or wise enough to do the work on their own. They actually need somebody to help them and guide them through the process, right? Because unfortunately, what happens is that people tend to have benders, and they'll start off good and then they'll fall off the wagon, right? It's no different than people that go to like AA or recovering alcoholics, or repeat drug users, right? They start off well and then they fall off the wagon. People need safety guards, in certain boundary lines to help guide them, through their day to day, until they build up the confidence and the wherewithal and the spiritual foundation to get better and do better by themselves, right? But that takes time, and unfortunately, we tend to champion this idea in our society, like, you'll be fine, like, what I'm saying, just get up, you'll be great, we see you, instead of being like, yo, let me throw a lifeline to this person, they actually could use it, let me actually reach out to this person. You know what I'm saying? I noticed that they're going through a hard time, but we just encourage this idea, like, you got it all by yourself. And in reality, we never really thrived before. We always had counsel of men, we had counsel of women, we had counsel of community, we had people that we could talk to, right, and vent to, right? A lot of people have a lot of pent up anger and frustration inside that they can't release, in either in the form of expressing themselves in whatever medium that they choose, talking to somebody. It's just there. And then unfortunately, it just takes one road rage incident. It takes one bad look, or you stepped on my toe, and then boom, all that pent up anger for months and months and weeks at a time, it just unleashes this onto unfortunately a poor bystander or recipient who really wasn't the perpetrator of what caused this hurt.
I think at the basis of it, the real thing is we're seeing people with this attachment style where they feel vindicated by being in a relationship. Like that's at the basis of it. Like they're creating their identity solely around their partner. Everything that matters to their partner is things that they only care about. You'll see it a lot of times, like in men who he won't keep a job unless he got a woman. He won't keep himself up unless he got a woman. He won't do anything. He won't take care of his kids unless he's in the house with the woman who's his favorite. These are the same type of attachment styles, and we're looking at it like, oh, well, they're deranged, they're delusional. And it's like very small, subtle characters of it are perpetuated out every single day, where people are losing themselves in other people, specifically in relationships. Like, you know, they want to control everything. You want to share your platform. One of the people that I see it really bad with was Queen Nija's first boyfriend, Chris Sales. He has it extremely bad. Like, he's obsessed with her to the point that it's like anytime she's doing anything, you're seeing him. And so, like, as much as those people have very good parts of them, such as like they want to praise their partner and they're, you know, very much so forthcoming and available for their partner, they also have extremely bad sides to them because they're extremely codependent.
I mean, what do these people do then before they got into a relationship? They was just hermits? What was they doing? Dude, your description you just gave sound like some dudes that are a bunch of goddamn losers. Them sound like a bunch of goddamn losers who ain't got no life. I mean, I don't.
That's the harsh reality, King. A lot of people were, unfortunately, or started off as the ugly duckling or that weird, awkward person in high school. You know what I'm saying? Or at any level of formal education, right? Like, they just had a hard time acquiescing and connecting with people. They weren't really socially calibrated. They tend to kind of eat lunch by themselves, sit by themselves, right? And, you know, congregate with maybe one other person that they might have something in common, but they weren't really, you know, the show person or the attention seeker, right? Unfortunately, a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, a little bit introverted, extroverted, but you tend to kind of see the people who are so introverted that even saying hello or good morning, they kind of squirm. They're like they're not sure, right? And I think that's a combination of a lot of things that's going on in their background. But unfortunately, we see those people. We know what they are. We see them in the workplace. We've seen it when we were in school. You know what I'm saying? And we see it out in society. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but even take it one step further. These women out here who are on social media, they see it in their back channel DMs. Hi, hey, how's it going? You know what I'm saying? It's the same repetitive. No conversational boy. Hey, how's it going? Good afternoon. I just saw your page. You know, I wanted to slide through, introduce myself, blah, 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 blah. None of that. It's just the same thing, right? Hoping that if they keep doing it enough, that they'll probably get the outcome that they want. And in reality, they haven't stopped. Nobody has stopped to tell them that they're falling short at the line.
Yeah, but we saying this, they're not able to function in a relationship. I mean, how did they even get to a goddamn relationship?
No,
how does that happen? You damn near shut down your whole life, because of relationship. Yeah, but what do they do getting to that point where they in a relationship? That's what I'm thinking about. How are they functioning then? Are they just not functioning?
Well, when I was explaining it, you rejected it because you thought that I was saying women should not be obsessed with their man in a healthy way. So what I was saying was a lot of times us as women friends, we have friends that when she get into a relationship, this person that she was, right? She was multifaceted. She was able to, have her own identity. She's able to go to work. She's able to think for herself, all these other things. It's like when she gets into a relationship, she cuts everything off solely to just focus on the relationship. And that's because of the experiences like in childhood, right? You're lacking attention. You're lacking something where somebody has catered to you or somebody has gave you some form of ego boost. So when you're feeling that intimate partnership, you don't know how to navigate these feelings because the what is it called? The feeling that you get when you're in love is a lot more amplified, right? It's a lot more intense. And a lot of times people don't experience that quite often with anybody. Like the average person used to have 3 times that they had a partner that they actually genuinely love. So these people do one of 2 things. They either run really fast from relationships and always try to avoid them, or you will always see them constantly in a relationship. That's how they respond. They respond in extremes because of their codependency issue.
But do you see what I'm saying? Y'all gave two different examples. Y'all talk about this person couldn't get to the point of a relationship. They so, I guess, uncomfortable having even a conversation. But you're talking about this woman is functioning fine, but all of a sudden, soon as she gets in a relationship, all of a sudden it's all about her man, and that's it.
Because
but she's not able to function correctly.
Style. That's the basis of it. Like it's an attachment style. It's kind of like a kid acting out.
And I want to add that, Louise, you were talking about introverts, because I'm extremely introverted. That does not equate to an anxious attachment style. And I know you didn't say it, but I'm just clarifying it for the people listening, because I don't want people to just equate things. You could be introverted and have healthy attachment styles. But I get what you were trying to say. But I'm an introvert, but I'm healthy. I'm not an avoidant style or an anxious attachment style. But a lot of people are, and they can be extroverted.
Don't let me see you jumping out of damn bushes on a man.
I don't have the time of day. Listen, I can be home growing vegetables. I'm not the one.
That part.
I do want to let me bring up Smiley. He was in the back.
The girls who got the room.
What's going on, brother?
What's going on, man? How you guys doing?
How you doing? Tell me about yourself.
Yeah. How you doing? My name is Smiley. Oh, you could turn the TV down. Turn it down. Please be live.
You talking about balance?
My bad. I didn't know that you just caught me off guard, throwing me up here, man. I watch y'all show all the time, man. It's an honor to be up here with you guys. So I was listening to you guys talk about relationship anxiety. Had a little take on it. Let me get my camera right. My fault. Got a little take on it. I think. Well, first of all, my name is Smiley Jizzle. We also have a podcast called Get Lifted. 30 is the new 20 podcast. You know, a lot of our influence based on a lot of what's going on right now in the culture and stuff like that. But I was listening to what you guys were talking about, and I think the reason that a lot of people have, well, most of the time you guys chime in on this anyway, but I think it's the past traumas that they've dealt with in their past and most of their environment issues. You know what I mean? Like a lot of stuff that we talk about is there's distractions in the environment that we grew up in. So a lot of times not having a father in the household, you know, things of that nature, and just having a single parent period is kind of difficult with all the challenges and distractions that we have. So I usually tell people to give people a little bit of grace and understanding with that, but we don't have to deal with people's problems. Like that's not what I signed up for when I found a person. Is the selection process. Like we know that people have certain issues and traumas when we grew up in the same environment, but some people can deal with things a lot easier. And a lot of people just have a hard time understanding that. Like understanding is the problem in most relationships. Not understanding where the other person is coming from and that person not understanding where you're coming from. And that's where a lot of the anxiety comes from, and not giving people that grace.
Okay. Right on, my guy.
And that's why I made my plan.
Do you find here in the state and in the West, we give a lot. Somebody got a. Do you find that here in the States, in Western culture, we tend not to give no grace at all compared to other parts of the world? You know what I'm saying? Like, do we not give people grace because we tend to be like, okay, I'm in the same boat as you. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the same circumstances as you, right? If you're outside getting rained on and I'm outside getting rained on, why are you complaining? If you see all of us out here going through the same struggle and the same thing. So I think that's a reason why we don't tend to, I don't want to say that's the main reason, but I tend to kind of see that here, particularly, we have a very harsh way of handling people and handling people's emotions and what people are going through, especially when people are having an actual human experience, right? I find that we tend to be a little bit gritty, like that New York harshness. Shout out to all my New Yorkers. But I find that outside, within our culture, in terms of like here in the West, people tend to have much more grace and more leniency because they understand that, at any moment I could also be going through the same. I could also be going through the same circumstance as that person. Are you?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think a lot of it is like, like we went through the same thing, and I don't behave the way that you behave, but it's is this basically that because the world doesn't really owe you any understanding? You know what I mean? Like, you're here, we all have to go through certain things, and we can't really live in the past of certain things, like the history, the civil rights and what have you, like all the things that we've endured. We can't like feel sorry for ourselves and let that stop us from meeting our goal. But I know for everybody, those challenges is what discourages us from reaching our goal. You know what I mean? Like, because I had all these issues and I'm so many years back from generational wealth, I have to work twice as hard as the next person or twice as hard as another culture. And we don't have the backing of our full culture to help us get to that goal together. So it's kind of discouraging. And then it's somebody that's got to be like, you know what? I'm going to be a martyr for our culture. We don't have any Martin Luther Kings, Malcolm X's, Marcus Garvey's. We don't have too many people like that. So a lot of people are just for themselves, for their family, and that's it. And then if you got a person that doesn't have a family, they're like, well, you know what? I'm content. I'm happy. Somebody comes along and they're like, well, you got to do this. You got to do that. Like, why? I'm fine the way that I am. Just accept me. And some people are like, well, I was in a relationship and this person was doing this, so you need to do this. Why do I need to do that? Because that's what you like. You know what I mean? That's not what I like. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think I mean, I'm kind of going all over the place with it, but I'm really saying that I think we need to have more understanding, and I think these conversations are good to get us on that path to get into that goal.
I agree with you.
Go ahead, Luke. Go ahead, Luke.
No. I just wanted to say I kind of agree with you. I also think that a part of us today, I think a lot of people are kind of desensitized, right? They're kind of desensitized to like what's going on around them. I think that a lot of people are just removed, or at least that emotional, compassion and understanding has been removed from the human experience, from the day to day at least. It's sort of that's why we find ourselves having these conversations of like, people not extending grace and having a certain level of empathy for others. Are you?
Go ahead, Hank.
So let me say this, man. Black people are naturally throwing a white flag out on a regular basis, right? We accept anybody and everything, even though they've done the worst to us. So give an example, OJ. OJ wouldn't claim us for shit. But as soon as his black ass killed them two white folk, guess who opened their arms up? The black community. Tiger didn't consider himself black. As soon as that pretty white woman whooped his ass with the goddamn golf club, he came running. Most of the time, like I said, we open it up. We accept you. We do that. We're forgiving and loving people. That's who we are. But how much is too much? Right? How much grace do we have to continue to offer now? Understand that if I'm in a relationship, I should be, even in a relationship, there should be limits, right? How much grace should we give an individual? That's my main question. How much grace does a person really deserve? When it's going to have to, you got to put your foot down. Hey, I need you to be a man about it, and I need you to get your shit together. I need you to be a woman about it, and I need you to get your shit together. I'm going to love you, I'm going to respect you, and I'm going to show you some grace. But there's going to be a limit, and there's going to be a time period. And eventually, that time period is going to expire. I'm not going to keep accepting the bullshit. We shouldn't.
right. Anybody else want to add anything to it?
I would like to add something, 2 points. Speaking on anxiety, one of the things that have been very beneficial for anyone dealing with anxiety, male or female, is to volunteer our time, to reach out and do something that we're not being paid for, that we're not being asked to do. A lot of people have testified who have had severe anxiety, severe depression, even, I'm just going to say severe. When they give of themselves in a generous way to help someone else, give up their time, their resources for a good cause, not for something where they're going to misuse the money or misuse your time. It really does help us internally. We stop thinking about ourselves. We stop thinking about our own issues when we focus on helping someone else. That's not the solution. It's not the end all be all, but it does help tremendously. And it has saved millions and millions of people from doing things that are very destructive by stopping and saying, hey, you know what? This is not always about me and what I'm going through. The second point with Luis and Smiley, I wanted to chime in, but what Luis was saying is, and I agree with Hank, like, we do need to give each other grace and understanding, because sometimes I think we are too hard on each other, and personally too hard on ourselves. Like, I don't know if any of us have experienced that, but just like beating our own self up, like not really giving ourselves empathy. One of the things that combats shame, and sometimes when we have anxious moments and anxious behavior, we shame ourselves, is empathy. But at the same time, I believe there has to be a limit, because sometimes we manipulate and we use that and say, well, I'm working on this. I'm working on something. It's like, all right, and I do see that to be a healthy thing, because when in a relationship that's healthy and your man or your woman says, hey, I'm here for you, I love you, but we need to be making some progress. Maybe this is not helping you. Let's try something else. We start to get better and we start to improve. So I wanted to make those 2 points.
I think that that's a good thing. I just think that we also have to make sure that our boundaries are stated, because at the time that you're talking about, we need to give these people grace. A person with that type of attachment style, sometimes it can be to overshadow you. Like, that's how they operate. They operate by infringing upon what you feel in order to make them feel good, because they want you.
All right.
Welcome to the dark side, Paris.
Just get to the dark side too. Well, it's a great show. Great show, Smiley. I want to thank you for coming up, giving your perspective, man. I know it's your first time. Salute to you, brother, and blessings.
Appreciate it. It's a pleasure.
All right. Thank you. All right, family. Y'all good?
Yeah, I don't think no hurt feelings report is going to be filled out today, JR.
Well, my HR is out the country right now, so I'm taking over. So please don't send none of that my way.
It's not Thursday, so I'm chilling.
Okay.
Monday is.
Well, Sundays is a completely different vibe. It's just like you've had a really good weekend or a relaxed weekend, and now you're just trying to coast into Monday without no stress, without no baggage. It's just, and there's plenty of sunlight still out there. So make sure y'all go out there and enjoy y'all day.
Yeah, that's right. I got some healthy tacos waiting on me. My lady got to get me right.
Man, you got to probably take some pictures and put them on Instagram or something, in the stories or something.
I haven't eaten today either. I gotta go get some food. But in the meantime, when y'all leave the Lapeef Network, make sure y'all head over to my Instagram and my TikTok and check out my new post. I think y'all gonna have a lot to say about it. A good discussion.
Everybody's getting that. Hey, Jay, everybody getting their shots in on their social media.
What it seems like.
Miss Paris is doing it. Balance, I guess you're gonna do it next.
No, I just had a question for JR, because I'm so curious. It's killing me to know this. Did you wear that shirt to church today? I just really need to know.
Oh, no.
Okay. I'm just curious. Okay.
No. This is one of my older creations, man.
Gotcha.
I just want to know if they had to lay hands on your shirt.
Left out there, man. I've been delivered, huh? No, I didn't know. I don't know. Shirts over there somewhere. I had on a different shirt though. And I wouldn't wear this shirt.
That's that after hour shirt. You know what I'm saying? That's that Friday night, let's go to the club type shirt.
I see.
Is it that loud?
The brunch shirt.
It's different.
I like it. I like it, Jay. I ain't gonna lie. I like it. I'm jealous. You got one for me in 3X?
I got one hanging up, man. I think I made like six or seven of them. I know I sold. I got a couple of them. But yeah, no. It's definitely different, man. I mean, it's like a hit or miss. I mean, I get compliments from a lot of people about it when I wear, because I got different versions, different fabrics you guys have seen. But this fabric was from LA.
It looks like an LA shirt.
It came from a fabric store. So and then the buttons, you can't really see the buttons, but you got custom buttons on there as well. Buttons that I picked out, and the way it's cut. You know, I like to show a lot of arms, so the cut is always a little higher. Show arms, and then kind of tapers in. But yeah. So, I mean, it's definitely different, man. I mean, I don't wear it everywhere. Yeah, but that's gonna be out now, you know. Shit, Balance said it looked demonic.
I did not say that. I said it's different. It's unique.
Yeah, but then you had to stop. Yeah, I had to ask you. I had to really ask you this. This is, I'm puzzled by this, but did you wear church?
I just wanted to know. That's all.
No, you just got to be low key when you go to church, man.
Do you have to be? I thought you had to be yourself.
I mean, I am myself, but you know, just coming in to get the word. I don't need any more attention. I just want to come in and get the word.
I'm gonna stop messing with you because you take things personal sometimes.
I'm just a critical thinker, man.
I know you're overanalyzing it. I was just curious.
I'm not actually. I'm thinking about what other people have said
yeah,
about
don't
it.
be anxious about it. It's all right.
Because I already have this thought in my head before I wear it about. It's interesting hearing different people's perspectives when they see it. So I'm just taking it all in. That's all.
Well, Jay, I like it. I like the shirt, man. I think it looks good on you, brother. Right on.
Hold on, man. Let me see if I got the size right quick. Hold on.
Hank, how much do you weigh?
265.
It's a lot of questions, ain't it?
No, because he said he was a 3X, so I was curious about his weight. You said it's.
Well, it depends on the cut. If it's certain brands, I could get away with a 2X something, but most of the time I have to go with a 3X because they don't, they got the slim fit. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I go with 3X.
Okay.
6'3", 265, Miss Balance.
That's what's up.
I'm trying to lose about 15 more. That's what I want to get down to, about 15 more. Get down to about 250.
Okay. I know you could do it. Cut out that steak, a little more. No, I'm just messing with you.
You're killing me out when I do. Hey, that's what my trainer said. He said, man, if you let that red meat go, I got a chance. But I really don't take too much red meat for real.
Oh no, Hank,
he was serious.
That's bro.
Not having a whole closet.
Yeah, you're killing me, man.
He's like, this is my Monday, my Wednesday, my Saturday.
What size is that, JR?
This one is I know you can't fit this one, but this one is
okay. I know you asked.
Might be. Now this one kind of run a little bit bigger, man. That's a small one right there. Let me see.
No, I can't do that with that.
I know you can do that with that one. This one is this one's pretty big. You might be able to do something with it, man. Yeah, because I'm not gonna do nothing with it, man. It's too big, and I ain't even advertise. I might just ship it to you.
I know that's right.
Yeah.
See, this is see, Balance, what you experiencing right now. It's an ongoing thing between me and JR, because I want to get some his attire and his swag, but he ain't got no grown man sizes in the shop. And I've been asking ever since I've been on the show, about a year and some change now, and I'm still patiently waiting. I'm patiently waiting.
But you know what? Ever since that day, I haven't done anything. I don't think I've done anything. No, I'm seriously, I haven't, man. I just haven't had the time. But I keep saying I'm gonna get back to the cut and sew. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to put some stuff together.
Well, if you do get back to it, JR, let the grown man size be the first size you start working on.
Yeah, I mean that.
So me and Luke can get him some shirts.
There's some mediums left.
Yeah, are you a medium?
Yeah, man. I'm 6 feet tall, 208.
Oh, well, then Lou ain't. Well, I'm not in Lou's category. Then.
Yeah, we're gonna see what we can do, man. Because I mean, with custom, you get a little flexibility. I had this one guy's shirt I had made. It was short sleeve, but he wanted the long sleeve with the same fabric. So you get like a lot of flexibility, and it's unique because you don't make a lot of them. So you may make about 10, 15. I actually made this denim tee. I made a denim tee.
I thought you was going to show it or something.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
But say less.
I know that's right. It's take advantage of your opportunity, JR.
It's his platform.
Yeah. Ain't no need of you paying taxes on this overstock. Somebody want it, they might hit you up.
No, Hank, but I've had that issue too. Being a tall woman, it's like I could be slim, but I'm tall.
How tall are you, Balance?
5'10". So it could be hard to shop, you know. So
yeah.
So
I'm not small either.
Heels?
Well, you know,
it's a denim tee right here.
You gotta back it up.
Man, let me hold on.
Can't see the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean you can't see the whole thing, but I'm just saying like it's
okay.
I like it. I like that.
All right, so then you got the pocket right here. It's right here, pocket on this side.
That's that old fashioned Levi type denim too, ain't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Logo. These are actual like Lapeef buttons right here that I designed.
Wow.
Okay. See,
you gotta promote that.
I mean, I don't know why JR. Why did you get back into it, JR?
I'm gonna make an order.
Yeah. I mean, once the podcast stuff started taking off, man, I kind of got around from it. That's what I was doing before then. So I was doing like making music beats, and then I was doing the cut and sew. I screen printing, but I'm like, everybody's screen printing, but screen print, you still got to screen print because they got other things now, but it's like a money maker when you can screen print. Once you got the brand behind it, but the cut and sew was a little bit more unique. Actually, the shirt I wore on Thursday, that was my shirt too. Let me go get that shirt back again, man. Yeah, the shirt I had on Thursday. Hold on, y'all stay right there.
You got to promote your brand, JR, because I had no idea you was making.
But yeah, I know what you're saying about a tall woman. Like my lady, she's 5'8".
Okay.
And so it's kind of hard to when you shop. And remember the era when people used to wear their clothes real big. It really pissed me off. I couldn't really find nothing then. And dudes, I'd be like, you really a large. Why are you wearing 3X? Taking all the damn 2X up. Yeah. Y'all need to stop this shit.
But I actually made some joggers. I made some joggers with it too. I didn't like the way the joggers turned out. You guys see me, but this the shirt I had on. So this was the cut and sew. So this was the zip. Now you have, but I'm put a zip on there, and I actually used the material right here. This is brown. Can you see it? My camera's gonna be. Can y'all see it?
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah.
So what type of material is the shirt, JR?
The shirt is it's a cotton, man. I had picked it. It's feel real good, nice and soft. That's the thing about what cut and sew is. I like clothes that feel good when they lay on me.
Yeah.
People are asking where they could buy it, JR, in the comments. So
I'm gonna get back to it, man. I just been I got a bunch of stuff. Yeah, got some other stuff that I created too.
Oh, I see a few grown men sizes they looking for here, JR. You have to get it started now.
At 2X, yeah.
I am, man. I'm gonna change it up, man. I'm gonna start getting back into it and start rocking stuff. And y'all just gonna see me just doing a whole bunch of stuff, man. I just like to create. So when everybody always asks what I like to, I just like to create. Like to put things together, see how I put it together, see how the people react to it, respond to it. Like to add stuff, take stuff out. That's the fun part for me. I ain't got to be in the front light. I can be behind the scenes. I just like to create. And then, but I do when I step in, I do like the attention. I do like all eyes on me when I walk in.
I'm so glad I mentioned the shirt so we can have this discussion because I did not know that.
You start peacocking.
Yeah.
Trendsetter, man. You walk in, says you ain't got no choice, man. You got no choice. You got no choice. When you walk in, you're looking good, you're smelling good. You ain't got no choice but all eyes to be on you. You know, you walk in, right. You become an inspiration to so many people when you walk in the room.
No, that's right, big dog.
All right, I'm gonna get up.
Like you own the joint, man. Walking in there like you own the joint.
Yeah.
Oh, look who decided to join us again.
Marcus Evans $5 says, "Talk that grown man. Talk to the ladies, brother Hink." I thank everybody that has contributed to the platform tonight. I appreciate the chat, still hanging in, rocking out with us. Big says, "How much for that hat?" What up, Hink? This hat, I got a bunch. I got a bunch of hats, man. This hat is I'm selling this one, man. I think I got it on Canal Street in Chicago. If you reach out to me on Instagram, you know, not the clone Instagram, but the real Instagram. Mine is Lapeef_JR. What you see right here at the bottom, that's mine. The clone, what he does is he'll put Lapeef .JR, or he'll do Lapeef JR _ on the back. So y'all make sure y'all be careful with that. So I got somebody that just watches me post and try to mimic what I do. I don't know who got time for that. Who raised you?
You'll be surprised. Be very surprised.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and exit properly. Make sure we support everybody on the platform. Y'all go ahead and check out Paradise Paris since she wanted to put it all out there. You know, whatever this post is it posted right now?
It is posted. It is up right now. That's why my head been down. I've been content creating, multitasking because we never not working.
Okay. Let me see what this post is.
JR, you're gonna have to mute it. You're gonna have to mute it now because don't get flagged. Because I'm gonna say what I want to say.
Oh god damn. You get a little raunchy? You getting raunchy on there? What are we doing?
I am a lady, Hink. I know you like to think negative about me, but I'm a woman of class and decorum.
Oh no.
I know that's right. I know that's right, sister. Right on.
It seems like you're talking about some confused people.
JR said, "Oh no, he's not playing that."
Yeah. He made male and female. I don't know what else you talking about on this one.
Oh hell, is that what we talking about? Oh shit, I'm concerned about that video.
I ain't concerned about it. Dedicated to my children's future. Nothing much here to say. Just showing respect for the panel and chat. Thank you. Dedicated to my children. Yeah, we are. Yeah. Everybody looking at it?
I didn't see it yet, but I will.
Feel free to comment if you're not on Instagram. You can find me on TikTok at _Paradise Pairs. I promise y'all.
Well, she said, she said TRANS. Women are women. Luis, we can't hear you because you're on mute.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah.
Watch the video. Have to watch the
Maybe it's clickbait. Maybe it might be.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely have to check this one out, I guess, huh?
I don't know, man. Somebody gonna be doing a reaction video on it probably.
Are you planting the seed, JR, when you said that?
This won't be me.
Miss Balance, you gonna do a reaction?
Certain topics I just stay far away from because it's just not my cup of tea to talk about. That's all.
Well, I'm gonna definitely check out the video, see what Miss Parrish put out there, what she has to say.
Mm-hmm.
I look forward to it, Hank. I can't wait to see you send me a message and tell me what you think about it.
I know you can. I know you can. JR, again, man, I appreciate you coming up Wednesday, man, on the 50th anniversary of hip hop, man. I appreciate that. Thank you, sir. We had a good time, and
yeah, I had to come and support, man.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. I definitely appreciate it. It was greatly appreciated, brother. I promise you that.
I was mobile, man. My apologies, but I was with the kids. So.
Oh, man, hey, family time is very important. It's more important than showing up in the basement. I promise you that.
Yeah.
You got to take care of family. Family's family.
I'm about to go do right now. Got to figure out dinner.
Okay. Well, you cooking today, John? You cooking? Oh, okay. Never mind.
Oh, you know what? I might have to, man, because I grabbed some. I wanted to grab some fast food for lunch for them. So, I know it's nasty. So, sorry,
as long as it ain't red, as long as it ain't cow, Balance is okay with it.
What time Costco close? Are they closed? Right, closed.
Yeah. Well, hold on. Where you on Central Time, so
yeah,
they may be closed. Yeah.
Yeah, they say closed. Yeah.
I tell you, do y'all have a Sam's there?
I think Sam's everywhere. Oh my!
Well, you never know, man.
I haven't been to Sam's in a while though, man. I might go to Whole Foods. Got some. I ain't been to Whole Foods. I might go to Whole Foods.
Okay, y'all got a Trader Joe's?
Yeah.
Man, they got a nice little a garlic butter spread, man. That I like to use when I make a Cajun pasta dish, man. I usually use that in as far as when I cook my the cheese sauce that I use.
Okay.
Real good. Trader Joe's got it.
Yeah.
I can't think of the name of it right now, but when I come to it, I'll hit you with it.
Yeah. That definitely hit me. I'm always interested. Garlic is bad on your breath, but it tastes good. And it brings a lot of flavor.
Good for your soul.
I think Lego was talking about eating raw onions was good for you. Is that good for you, Balance?
I don't think I can do that. I don't think I could do that.
I don't think I can either, man. I mean, I can eat it on like you add it to something, but not just biting into an onion.
The last time I did that, I was being hazed, and I will not do that again. So I'm done with that bullshit.
Next Sunday, JR.
You pledge?
Give me some like topics that are like.
Yeah, I'm a member of one of the oldest fraternities in the world, brother.
What's that?
The Masons. Shout out to all my goat riders.
Yeah. You said next time what type of topics?
Just more topics. Because on Sunday you only give us what, 3 topics?
I didn't know y'all wanted to stay along. I was trying to get everybody out. I didn't want to make it like 3 or 4 hours. So I was just trying to be mindful of people's time. So
yeah, it's appreciated, JR. The red onion is particularly good for your immune system.
The red onion. Okay. Yeah, red onion is pretty good, man. I had been away from red onion for a while. I was doing green onion. You can just I just like the way they slice it, so much easier. So you can just cut them up and put them in a little container. But then I converted back over to red onion. So I started to buy it. I'm like, damn, I'm missing out on salads. The red onion be popping.
Yeah, I like to use the red onions when I saute my onions. I use them red onions for that. Those are real good too.
Yeah. That got me hungry now, man.
Yeah, I gotta go. I ain't eat all day. Y'all enjoy.
I thought we was having family time.
Take care, man.
I thought we was having family time, Paradise.
Listen, minimum time. Respect my boundaries. Respect my boundaries. No, I'm just playing.
So, hold on, you saying we ain't family?
Time. I enjoy family time, but I need to eat. I gotta go.
Yeah. You know we family, right?
What are you cooking? What are you cooking?
Shame in this family.
Today I'm not cooking anything. I'm just gonna go grab something.
Okay, well, what's the meal of choice?
Sunday dinner?
Probably.
Come on.
You said some chicken?
Probably. Yeah.
Are you going to Popeyes?
Maybe. Who knows? I'm one of the people where I'm gonna get in my car and start driving because I might change my mind. I may go get some Chipotle. We really don't know.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. All right, man. I ain't gonna hold y'all too much longer, man. Y'all.
Hey, I see you, Missy.
All right. You know, like y'all over there getting stale faces now. So that being said,
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Sure don't anybody got time for them stale faces. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and end it though. Hit that like button, family. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Catch us next week.